The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles just wrapped up OTAs, but the excitement is only continuing to build as a lot of guys really stood out, including several rising star defensive linemen, a versatile star at defensive back, and even the face of the Eagles franchise. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 8 Eagles players who really impressed everyone at OTAs, and let's not waste any time, we'll get straight into it. Summer break is almost here for the Philadelphia Eagles, as the Birds have just one more practice during their spring training program, that coming in the form of their mandatory minicamp in just a couple days on Tuesday, June 10th. And with that, of course, we're going to get a bunch more news, storylines, highlights, and reports to talk about. So don't worry, I'm going to be covering all that later this week with a couple different videos, so make sure you guys subscribe and you turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. But that said, Eagles OTAs are officially over, as the Birds just wrapped up the last of their 6 voluntary on-field practice sessions this past week, and there were a bunch of guys who stood out. So I figured this would be a great time to talk about the most impressive performers from spring OTAs. And we'll start off with none other than the versatile cornerback Goedert and Jalyx, because there's perhaps no other Eagles player that has been in headlines more over the entire course of these past several weeks during OTAs. And that's due to the fact that not only has DeJean quickly become one of the most popular players on this Eagles team, and he's continued to play very well at his typical nickel cornerback spot during OTAs, but he's also now taking on an even bigger role this offseason. As in addition to playing that nickel cornerback spot, he's also been getting reps at both outside cornerback and safety in base sets. Now, if you know anything about the Eagles and what their defensive scheme looked like under Vic Fangio last year, then you know that they primarily utilize nickel packages, and that's likely going to continue to be the case moving forward. So Coop's main position is no doubt going to remain at that nickel spot, but it's also clear that the Eagles very much believe that Goedert and Jalyx can do more than that, and in situations when the Eagles aren't in nickel packages, they still want to have DeJean on the field. Hence why you see him taking reps at outside corner and at safety, and defensive coordinator Vic Fangio only confirmed this in a recent press conference.
Yeah, we'd like to keep him at nickel, and then in our base package, we'll find a spot for him, either at corner or safety.
I know I said this in a recent video, but the fact that the Eagles want Coop on the field at all times, regardless of the position, is only a testament to how highly they think of him, how much they believe in him, and how good they think he can be. I mean, think about it. The guy was a second-round rookie last season who missed almost all the training camp and didn't even start for the first 4 games, yet he immediately became a star, and now it looks like he's set to see an even bigger role in just his second season playing multiple positions. I mean, if that's not confidence, then I don't know what is. So I'm just super excited to see how Goedert and Jalyx performs this season, regardless of what position he's playing. And again, he's definitely one of my standouts from OTAs. And interestingly enough, so is cornerback Kelee Ringo, because even though he seems to be firmly locked in a competition with Adoree Jackson for the starting corner job, and we haven't heard too much about him in terms of what he's actually done on the field, it's what he said during his press conference that really stood out to me, as he revealed that not only is the game slowing down a lot for him, but he's also been super locked in on just improving his technique and the little things during this offseason. So we'll hear from him in just a second. Real quick though, I want to talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, Huel. Now, Huel is a full meal in a bottle and a complete game changer when it comes to hitting your nutrition and fitness goals. I mean, for me, with my schedule, it's hard to find the time to make healthy meals, and sometimes I don't get the right nutrition during a day. And that's why Huel is perfect for me, because it makes all that super easy. As their Black Edition ready to drink is a complete healthy meal in a bottle that I can drink super fast. And in it, there's all the nutrients I need, including 27 essential vitamins and minerals, and a whopping 35 grams of protein, which is absolutely huge for me. Plus, it's high in fiber, low in sugar, and has at least 150 science-backed health benefits. Not to mention that it tastes great, and they have a bunch of different flavors. And on top of the great taste and incredible convenience, Huel is also very affordable. And to make things even better, I got a deal for you, as new customers can get 15% off and a free gift using my code PHILLYFAN with a capital P at Huel.com. I mean, again, guys, I love this stuff, so go do that right now. The link will be down in the description. Again, thank you to Huel for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get right back into it.
Talent only takes you so far, and just coming into the league and just seeing, of course, the talent can definitely help you be able to get places where you want to go, but taking that next step of focusing on your technique, little things of stretching, just continue to take learning the playbook, all different things that could definitely help you get an edge overall, besides from your talent. So that's the main thing I've been focused on right now. I would definitely say the game's slowing down a lot more, for sure. Just technique-wise, focusing on the little things, of course, as man over here was talking about my talent, everything like that, man. But just understand the playbook, understand what offenses are trying to do to you, and the scheme and everything like that. And when everything slows down for you, you're able to play a lot faster, and I'm kind of tapping into that, and it feels really good.
To hear Ringo say this is absolutely huge in my opinion, because going into a season where he very likely is going to be the starting outside cornerback for the first time in his career, there's obviously a lot of question marks simply because he's just never had a role this big before. However, the thing I think you can't question at all is his talent and athleticism. I mean, the dude has all the physical tools to be a great player. He's got great size that helps him bring an element of physicality to the cornerback position that's pretty unique. And he's also got great speed and other athletic traits. I mean, the guy is just a freak, and heck, even Ringo's competition for the starting quarterback job in Adoree Jackson admits that.
What stands most out about Kelee is that he is a freak of nature. Just his tangibles, being that tall, being able to have speed, his movement.
Yeah, so again, Kelee Ringo's talent and athleticism have never been in doubt. However, the questions will come when talking about things like his technique and overall refinement in his game. I mean, the guy is still just 22 years old. He turns 23 in a few weeks. Now, a lot of that is going to come with reps and experience, like Vic Fangio said.
He just needs reps. He needs to learn to play the game. And that comes with reps.
And yes, that's very true, but it's also very encouraging to hear from Ringo himself that he's been super honed in on improving his technique and the game is slowing down for him. I mean, to me, that is a super positive sign that things are trending in the right direction, hence why I included him on this list. And I included edge rusher Jalyx Hunt for similar reasons, as on top of the fact that he did have some standout on-field moments at OTAs, including sacking Jalen Hurts at one point, he's another guy who is going to take on a much bigger role this year. He has the talent, he has the potential, he has the physical tools, so whether he breaks out or not is going to depend on things like his technique and his understanding of the position. And the good news is, just like Ringo, Hunt seems to be pretty honed in on that this offseason.
I think this offseason I just know a lot more of what is expected of me and what to expect from tackles and different players across the league. So I just know a lot more. So I've been able to approach my game in a more professional way by figuring out, what moves I want to work on, who I should watch, what I should watch, being a lot more technical, because that's the biggest difference that I've seen, is that players who are elite and good, their technicality levels are on completely different levels. So if I want to be great at this position and in this league, I got to be technical. So that's what I've really been focused on.
You're kind of early in that transition.
Yeah, thanks. I'm way more comfortable, man. Last year, it was all coming at you fast. You kind of just try to keep your head, play your rules. But now I feel as if, I can understand the game a lot more. I can play within the player that I am and have a little bit more personality out there instead of being so cookie cutter. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so again, like Ringo, I think it's very encouraging to hear Jalyx Hunt say something like that. And he just confirmed that he has been focused on his technique and that he does have a much better overall understanding of the position because, again, at the end of the day, that's the stuff that's going to help him break out this coming season. Like, I already was super excited about this dude after what we saw from him towards the end of last season. And again, given a bigger role with refined technique and a better understanding of the position, I think there's a really, really high chance of Jalyx Hunt having a breakout season in 2025. And again, everything I saw and heard from him during OTAs, I loved. But speaking of having a breakout season in 2025, that brings me to defensive tackle Jordan Davis, as some of the most recent OTA buzz has been focused on him and the fact that according to Vic Fangio, JD is now in the best shape of his entire life. Now, look, I feel like this is now the third offseason in a row that we've heard, oh look, Jordan Davis is in the best shape of his entire life, so I get why some people might not be moved by that. However, I will say that one, Vic Fangio is usually very honest in his press conferences, so I buy what he's saying there, and also, this is now the first time where we actually have concrete evidence of Jordan Davis's development, specifically as a pass rusher on the field. And that's something that Vic Fangio actually talked about in detail last week.
Jordan last year, I would say the last 7 or 8 games, including the playoffs, played very well down the stretch. And I think that's carried over into this offseason. And I anticipate it carrying over into the season.
How has he evolved as a pass rusher?
He got better towards those last 7 or 8 games. He really did.
Look, I went into a lot more depth on this in my last video, so I won't say too much here, but just judging by these numbers, you can very clearly see that JD got a lot better in the second half of games last season, and judging by everything we've heard about him from Vic Fangio and other sources from OTAs, it sounds like he's only going to continue to get better going into the 2025 season. And you can say a similar thing about Jalen Carter, as like Davis, Fangio had some extremely positive comments on him last week during OTAs. As if you'll remember, Eagles legend Jeremiah Trotter had said on WIP radio that Carter didn't even know how to play the defensive tackle position yet. Therefore, the sky's the limit as to how much he can improve, and while Fangio didn't seem to agree with all of what Trotter said there, and neither do I, he did fully agree with the point that he was trying to make, in that Jalen Carter still can become just so much better than he already is now.
I agree with the point he's trying to make. I do think Jalen, the good news about Jalen is twofold. One, he played very well for us last year, and two, he can still improve a lot.
Again, I already talked more in depth about this in my last video, but if Jalen Carter, who is already one of the best defensive linemen and defensive players in the entire NFL, can somehow get even better this coming season and moving forward, then the NFL should be terrified, because nobody can stop the guy already. So the thought of him being even better than he is now, and maybe even putting up more sacks or more pressures, is just insane. And as an Eagles fan, to hear that coming out of OTAs just got me so fired up about what he's going to do next season, hence why I included him on this list. And something else that actually got me fired up were some comments coming from Jalen Carter regarding Birds rookie defensive tackle Ty Robinson. So on top of the fact that the Vanilla Gorilla already had gotten fans excited by showing off some of his aggression and physical prowess during some drills and a few videos from OTAs, Jalen Carter also later revealed that Robinson has looked like an absolute monster ever since he arrived in Philadelphia.
Boy, fire. I ain't gonna lie, he moving good. He a big boy. I seen his highlights before he came, knew what they was talking about, and he here and he working. And I think he gonna have a big impact this season.
Again, this is another thing that I talked about more in depth in my last video, so you might want to go check that out after you're done watching this video. But Robinson was a guy who I was already fired up about after the Birds drafted him in the 4th round, so to hear Jalen Carter, the Eagles' best defensive lineman and possibly best defensive player, praise the rookie like that just got me even more excited about his potential, and it's another thing that makes me think that he could possibly make an immediate impact in his rookie season. Now, switching over to the other side of the ball though, I want to briefly mention tight end Dallas Goedert, because after all the back and forth and stress of this entire offseason for him, just not knowing if he was going to be back or not, I think he deserves some well-earned recognition, as in the 2 open practices to the media, Goedert has probably been the Birds' best pass catcher during these OTAs, as he put up 5 catches in practice number 1, and then in practice number 2, he was part of the best play of OTAs, as Jalen Hurts hit Goedert over the shoulder down the sideline for a 30-plus yard connection. So, obviously at this point in his career, we know what Goedert is, but shout out to him for showing up and balling out during OTAs so far. And again, I could not be happier to have him back this season. But switching over to the guy that threw that 30-plus yard pass to Goedert down the sideline, we have quarterback Jalen Hurts, as statistically, he has been fantastic during OTAs, as QB1 ended up going a combined 35 for 38 with no turnovers in the 2 media open practices, which is pretty darn efficient if you ask me. And yes, obviously, OTA stats only mean so much, and I understand why some people think it's dumb to even keep track of them in the first place, but I at least think it's noteworthy that, one, not only has Jalen been very good at practice during OTAs this year, but he's also very much improved drastically over the past several years in practice, which correlates to his overall development as a quarterback. And I think Eagles reporter Elliot Shorr-Parks, yes, ESP guys, please stick with me for a second, but I actually do think he made a really interesting point when he said this on WIP radio.
I think the main takeaway from practice was how good Jalen looked. Jalen was 15 of 17. He had his best throw so far of the 2 practices I've seen. He hit Dallas Goedert down the left sideline. The coverage was really good. He just put it in like a bucket over Goddard's shoulder. Having watched all of Jalen's practices since he was drafted back in 2020, you can really see in practice the difference in him now as a quarterback versus obviously as a rookie. Like he just plays the position so much better even now than he did probably 2 years ago. 2 years ago in practice, I remember talking on air with you guys about it. Like he would hold onto the ball so much. There would be so many 7-on-7 reps where he would hold onto the ball. And in 7-on-7, the ball should never be held like that. And it was happening 4 or 5 times a practice. Now he barely ever holds the ball. And you can just see, like, I mean, I have him down as, I think, 35 of 38 in these 2 practices. If there's nothing there, he is dumping the ball down, getting rid of it. And that just wasn't happening. I remember as a rookie, like, players laughing at him during the drill, being like, throw the ball. And obviously that's a rookie. He's a far way away from that now. But you can just see how much better he is at playing the position of quarterback now than he was, again, like 2 years ago even.
Now, first off, yes, I understand a lot of people do not like ESP, and I understand why. Like, some of his takes are just absolutely insane, but still, what he said in this clip, again, I think is very interesting, because the main area where I think a lot of people would like to see Jalen improve is just getting the ball out of his hands faster and making quick decisions and reads in game and utilizing those short, quick throws a little more. I mean, even though Hurts is already an elite quarterback, I think we can agree that he can improve in that area. So the fact that he's really made strides forward in practice there is great to hear, and I feel like it could possibly be a signal that maybe we could start seeing it in games more too. I mean, I just thought that was interesting. So again, for all these guys, I loved what I've heard about them in OTAs, and I'm looking forward to hearing even more positive things in training camp. But before we can look forward to all that, we still got one more practice of the spring training program, that being mandatory minicamp on Tuesday, and also then you got summer break. So if you guys don't want to miss any of my coverage on that mandatory minicamp practice or anything that happens over this next month and a half or so leading into training camp, then make sure you guys subscribe and you turn on notifications. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss any of my Eagles coverage or content I got coming. I got some ideas in the works, so again, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and also drop a like down below on this video to show some support, because it really does help me out so much. See if we can get to at least 500 likes on today's video, and also leave a comment down below regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you want to watch my last Eagles video that I referenced in this video, then you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.